point of view, there's nothing to see here. Let's move on, shall we? So the police inform her, hey, we can't do anything for you. We don't see anything here. I'm sorry. There's nothing for us to look at. There's no charges to be filed whatsoever. But you can go to the local court and file your own charges if you want. So that's what she did. She went to the magistrate's office. So in North Carolina, where she lived, you can do that. A citizen can file charges against another citizen based on what they believe is happening, whatever their evidence is. And the court determines whether or not there's something to pursue. And in this case, they did. What she supplied to the court is what she supplied to the police. The police saw it and says there's nothing here. The court didn't have that investigative arm like the police did, and they're different entities. You would think they work the same way. Like, you would think the court would recognize that the police investigated it and said nothing here. But regardless, in North Carolina, that didn't matter. The court said, yeah, we'll take it on. Let's call this guy and see what's going on. So not only did they summon me to court, but they issued an arrest for a warrant for my arrest. Yeah, sure did. Cyber stalking. Same claim she took to the police. The police said it's unfounded. The court, however, they said, nah, let's take a look at this and see what's going on. Now, she put a date of offense here of 2017. That's pretty significant. I'll tell you why. Okay, so yeah, they issued a warrant for my arrest based on the stuff that she submitted, as well as a summons to court. So here's the statement she offered. On or about the date of offense shown above, which is in 2017, and in the county named above, the defendant, that's me, unlawfully and willfully did use words and language in an electronic communication to Alyssa, threatening to inflict bodily harm on Alyssa. Nope, I sure didn't. Okay, so this is basically the warrant having been executed. So essentially, I went to court. The day I walked into court, I was arrested. They took me in the back, shackled me, fingerprinted me, mugshotted me, DNA swabbed me, processed me, and I was one step away from becoming an inmate, becoming a ward of the state, if you would, a guest of the state for 60 days, because the charge for this crime is 60 days incarceration. So remember I told you she set a date of offense of 2017. When I'm sitting there I actually was sitting in front of the magistrate ready to receive a bond while my court date was still supposedly going to happen. So I didn't have a lot of time to do both, but I had to do both. While sitting in front of the magistrate, he's reading the charge, tells me what the penalty is, and then he pauses, and then eventually I was excused, simply just like that. I did hear the statute of limitations at the time. I didn't know anything. All I knew was, this was surreal. Why any of this was happening, predicated on this on these baloney screenshots of posts from an account that I have nothing to do with, it was crazy. Okay, so I was excused from that. Essentially what it was they looked at the date here and said, oh, that's outside the statute of limitations. We can't process this. There shouldn't have been a warrant issued, honestly. She actually claims that this was an administrative error. Now, granted, 100% this was wrong, but administrative error or not, they didn't just pull it out of thin air. I guarantee you they got it from her. She's great at conflating dates and information, and I'll show that in a subsequent video. Nevertheless, this was dismissed. So then I went back to court for the charge, she had also applied for a protection order. Cyber stalking there's not a category for it, so it was cataloged under domestic violence. So a domestic violence protection order. I've never had that filed against me. Nevertheless, this claim for a protective order based on all the evidence was dismissed. Why? Because she, as the plaintiff, failed to meet the burden of proof. The burden of proof, she had a book binder full of evidence, quote unquote evidence, of all these posts from this other account that she says are from me. I made these posts under the guise of this other account. Yeah, that account exists. Those posts were made by the person on that account wasn't by me. And the judge realized that none of the evidence that she provided could make a direct connection between me and as being the author on this account. And I actually have another video up showing, I show proof that I'm not the person behind the account. Nevertheless, so the police denied her. The court said, nah, you can't have that protection order. And the magistrate was like, yeah, this is out of the date of the statute of limitations. We can't proceed with a warrant for this guy. So that was December 5th. I knew she wasn't done. I knew she wasn't done. Okay, now, she reached out to me in June of 2024, and we went to court in December of 2024. So in between June and December, other things were happening I had no knowledge of. All I know is I'm trying to figure out what is going on. Why am I being involved in something that has nothing to do with me? So sometime around October, I get an email. Now, I do delivery, DoorDash, Walmart delivery. I get an email from both of those companies telling me that a background check done on me pulled up a charge, a misdemeanor charge, for accessing computers without authorization. What? What are you talking about? What accessing what computers? Where did this come from? So on October 1st, she went to the court and filed a totally different charge. I'll have a video for that because that's a uniquely interesting story that I want to point out, highlight some very major inconsistencies. Okay. Nevertheless, she went to I didn't know this until I got the email. So because of that, I was knocked off both those platforms. No longer able to make money because of that. I sent this to my lawyer. I said, what is this? He had no idea, didn't even know it was done. Neither did I until I got those emails. Nevertheless, this charge was also summarily dismissed. Dismissal per prosecuting witness. So she signs the dismissal. She signs the dismissal. Now, I'll tell you what she says, why she signed it, and I'll tell you what I think. Nevertheless, that happened also. So this is before the court date in December. However, the dismissal for this took place in January of 2025 because there was still yet to be another court case that I actually ended up going back to North Carolina for. That actually, I was there in the courthouse, so was she. And fortunately, everything was handled like it should have been. So now, this was a charge that she